Okay. Good morning, everyone again. Okay. Good. Today we're going to talk. Not talk too much, but I have to go because Buddha's birthday is very important to all of the world, to Buddhism countries. Like this month, I think maybe except Tibetan Buddhism, the all celebration Buddha's birthday, they call Vesak Day. The Tibetan is 1 month later, the Sakadawa. Therefore, last Sunday, right? It's full moon day?
Friday.
Friday is full moon day. Everywhere they do celebration for Vesak Day. Therefore, like these days, all the Theravada traditions, then I have to go here, then also like weekdays. I have to represent it for Tibetan Buddhism to show them my body that. Sometimes I do a little chanting. It's important to connect for each other. Not, I'm here. It's not like that. Well, therefore, today I have to go to the Williams temple. Finish early class. But after I left, you guys also visit Heart Sutra and also dependent ordination, the ordination good quality. It's also one of the cards to embody the reincarnation and come back soon. Therefore, we do pray like that, okay? Like that. The thumb is somewhere, I don't know where he walking around. That's in that country. Yeah, it's really wonderful. So, therefore, this month, next month, how to do all different activities for Dharma. So, according to Buddhism, this is the time, power the time, also more power. Therefore, do all different activities. Good. 다 지나가고 끊어야 붙지 우리 남편다. 다 남배 취지에 용인 주선 세대 빼는 거 좀 자유로. You mood. Yeah.
So as usual, it's very important, to set up the proper motivation. Having a proper motivation at the beginning, doing the actual action in the middle, and doing a proper dedication at the end is very important.
예전 안에 남주면 산지주다 소지주는 샤셔바다 담을 좀 지에서 된지가 삼로도 요원 된지 삼고래 된지 삼로도 있나 나도 남바 산지 봐서 초요래.
And so, just like we recited, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. So you have to think like that. You have to think that you are taking refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. If you have that thought, then you are Buddhist.
아니 샤셔바다 담을 좀 이제 다그 신소집에 좀이 놀아본 성전도 즉 타만이 되기 아니 터와침부 샹치부 샘세데 송겨래. 간지 터와침부 삼모당당 어디지 말.
And then the last two lines of that verse, through this practice of giving and so forth, may I become enlightened for the benefit of all. So that shows the bodhicitta. So you have to have that thought, wanting to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, and that is bodhicitta.
맞지? 아니 내 tulaj rabachagi sanji chu gita sal japchagi 아니 내 가르치겠나 semche 탐주 체다 내 내가 보이지 삼로야 보이 당기 있어야 되고 그러봐.
And so I'm going to do this in order to benefit all sentient beings. I'm going to, in order to benefit all sentient beings, I'm going to be enlightened, and and for that I'm going to do this good thing to benefit others.
그래, 든지 끊어지 봐. 아니 당도 냠내 로조 체가려야 셈 대차 셔당 콘론 담정도 콘루지하는 도 생기지. 든지가 말도 이제 소소 강 도톱시 링아 였음데 아니 대사 찔라 되는 지다와나 아니 무지대 보는 거지.
And so when you do the actual practice, you have to do it earnestly without letting the mind wander around. And be influenced, not be influenced by the delusions like attachment, anger, arrogance, and so forth. And so when you do it with earnestly, without a distraction, by focusing on one object.
아니 당도 남주 사태 슈트비잖아. 아니 지선 잠배가 아니 가신 캠바시 가신 똑바시. 아니 샤체서 막 군도 삼보고 아니 투지만 강 잡아는 정에 문 병이 아니 뭐와치기 샤체는 당도 주민 주서 명고 차로 거래.
Then at the end, you do the proper dedication. So in the dedication, you can do just like the verse, prayer of the dedication prayer, where it says, just like Manjushri knows the things, and just like Samantabhadra dedicates or prays, I was in a dedicated prayer in the same way. So if you do that, then all your three, the motivation, the actual action, and dedication becomes proper.
어떤 남주 든데 시원한 것도 내가 돼 보는 거야. 제가 강도 변은 내가 이러거나 든데 어떻게 다 강도 라베야 돼. 아니 다 든데기 샤초고 삼바삼보까지 샤초고 삼나다 삼바삼보세. 삼바스나 삼바삼보 세데 미삼마 가그러와.
And so like that. So we have to have a good mind, altruistic mind, a kind heart. So if we have that, everybody will like that, right?
open mind.
And you have to have a broad mind.
So medipe some chujuta. We say that the American laya that luxosawa and a soso girl. Chachanga nasa, loneliness. That they could luxosawa and she like to that in the yoga.
So you should not be like a narrow-minded, very small mind or narrow-minded, just being thinking about very small thing, particular thing, and then being just stressed with that. And so nowadays, this has become like a trend, right? Where people say, you become lonely. So you don't have friends, so you don't share out your thoughts, so you don't feel flexible, with the things around, and you feel very stressed and narrow-minded, and then become very lonely like that.
Say academic loneliness, academic or
epidemic?
What's that? Epidemic.
Yep.
What it means?
Means happening to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like the COVID-19 was an
exactly.
epidemic. So loneliness is also epidemic.
Yeah. 제사가도 남배에 주는 삼모타와한테 가르치는 연구를 해서 삼모타보로 가르치는데 연구에 나와서 미상말로.
And so from the Buddhist point of view, we have to think, why is that happening? Or why that kind of epidemic of loneliness is happening?
아니 조직 아니 밀 이체라로 되게.
So one of the contributing factor for that is losing faith in others.
나 이체라서는 양도 이체고는 양 사마리시 밑삼에 가르치는 가르람는 연락 되게 좀 말다야. 그걸로 좀 아요.
So when you say losing faith in others, doesn't mean that you have to have faith in everybody, even no matter what they do. So you have to, of course, check, and if it is worth having faith, then of course you should have faith. So for no reason, not having faith is not good. But of course, you should not have faith, like blindly.
제가 쇼치는 알자체도 니네 아니 밀에 이치메와 아니 밀에 샴셈 젬발에 샴셈메와 어디 저진에 다 소속하자 라로.
And so one thing is not believing in others or not having faith in others, and and having too much of arrogance in oneself, saying that no, I can do everything by myself. I don't need others, help or like that. And then thirdly is not having affectionate love towards others.
제가 나도 샘바데 자초이고 나도 샘바데 직 파데 잘라 가들는 파 타이고 텐데리고 그래서 아니 짝 감도.
So our mind, we should have this broad mind, a big mind or broad mind, like a plastic bag that can stretch. So no matter how much things you put inside, it doesn't become tight or full. It can take a lot of things. It can stretch and take a lot of things inside.
Like elephant. Now, elephants in here, a lot of birds just stay here. Even they eat. They don't much mind. Right? Isn't it like that? They can take care of themselves, very powerful. And also like some animals, very sensitive, little bit jump like that. We are like all like that. This is a problem. They have really, Say that we topa mila topa che. Mila topa jang that any sort of kajang hardware.
And always like doubting on others, thinking, oh, what is he going to do? What is he thinking like that? And doubting on others, then you become lonely.
Okay, anyway, that's the thing. I was saying, Sham Niji Shanchu Sam the Council Jetona, the Tending Nasa the Mayota, Jasha Janajata Sayaptori.
And so if you are able to generate loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, then for 100% sure that you will not have that kind of epidemic.
Okay, therefore, if you want to. Okay, Tangazo Kazata and Shuju and the Shanchu Sam Gomtasha, that Shanchu Sam Jetavilla, Tananga to J. O Maradina, Shanchu Sam Jeva Yanata, Manyamero Yaka Karsana, Tanyama just watch control race, Tatela Zogo race, and it takes over Comda with the Tashu Leg to Bananga Shudo.
So you have to generate bodhicitta for that reason, have the altruistic mind, bodhicitta. And once you have generated bodhicitta, then you have to maintain it. You can't, and that's because there's a risk of degenerating or declining it. And so you have to, and one of the main causes that declines the bodhicitta is the anger. And so here we're talking about patience, right? How to overcome anger by practicing patience. So that's just like in the beginning of the 6th chapter of Guide to the Buddhist Way of Life, where it talks about there's no sin or negativities like anger, and then there's no fortitude like patience.
Okay, what was remember? 104 or 105?
We finished 104, I think, until 105.
Okay. 다 아니 쇼로가 아니 자다 치매 시리가 갈라나 이제 아니 조바 구발할 때네 쇼를 가지 쏘는 게 잡았대 코로나가 잡았대 매와 있는 좀 말이에요.
And so the 104, what he's saying is that the merit of practicing patience will not occur if there is no enemy, who gets angry and then gives you the chance to practice patience.
제가 아니 소설로 코로나에 대해 근데 조바 고미야기 다 주요는 만나 주 약속도 돼야지.
So if there's no anger, then what patience are there to be practiced, right? So somebody causing anger, is the best cause. Is the main cause for practicing patience.
제가 데이터 나도 샘고 삼로 다하르 삼로 해보고 다 검잡 시단 되게 진짜가 남자시 진짜가 남자세 나도 추케 램바이나 그케 말가 참 깨는 거 봐서.
And so we have to think, properly, if it's like that or not, because we all talk about the cause and effect, right? What causes it, and then what effects you get, because we all, whether we believe in the religion or not, we all accept the cause and effect, right?
제가 안에 컨트롤링에 다 잡으려면 다 특히 대고 대오는 거 같네. 가지고 컨트롤링인데 매와나 control over the Jew and give it out the young Martineda, control the Zopa Gumsaki, that Jew Yunaman.
And so someone who causes you to be angry, somebody who does bad to you that makes you become angry, right? If there's no such person to press your button, then you will not be able to practice patience. So therefore, someone being there to press your button is one of the main cause for your practice of patience.
So if
you can think in a positive way like that, towards somebody who's pressing your button, let's say, oh, this person's giving me the opportunity to practice patience. Right? So by thinking like that, so the merit that you accumulate by practicing patience comes from somebody who's pressing your button, right? So therefore, you should not hold a grudge towards this person who's pressing your button, thinking, oh, this is so bad and like that. And so you should not hold grudge or hatred towards that person.
So something other do Latte Paji Lagmeto, or Africa Middle Lagmeto. Russia Middle Lagmeto, the Jamit Lagmeto, so Tina Chun Manzina on the Matema Kazation to the Tema Kadin something Mari.
So when you hear these kind of things, if you think, oh, maybe this is telling to somebody in Africa or somebody in Russia or somebody in China, and if it doesn't hit to yourself and oh, this is telling to me, then no matter how much we talk about it, it will not help our mind at all.
That delivered Alangatini Rebe. And so some way down. Gomji Jabda. And it's our then how Tina Soba table and do some not any shiny digitally.
And so if you think, oh, am I in that group? Am I in that? Oh yeah, maybe I'm that. I am like that. So if you feel like that, you're included there, or is talking about you, then that will help you. That will make some differences in you, or make some movement in you.
아니 산지가 손도 말아오지 당간도 대매와서 삼some 소소 고야 될 납시는 삼some 촌에 소소 뒤에 진대와 매워서도 거로 그러와 제가 뒤에 소소고 녀다데 만나보지 그래.
But like when Buddha Buddha teaches in that language that each individual will understand, and will teach the thing that each individual will find it helpful, right? So it should be like that, right? So, but of course, when we teach, we don't know which is going to be helpful or not. We just say whatever we think is helpful. We just say that. But then from the person's side who is receiving it, right, who is listening, will hear the teachings in their own individual language that they're understanding. So, and then it becomes like it's receiving to them like that. So this is the same way when we talk about this. You should think that this is talking to me. This is coming into my language, to me. So it's for me like that.
Okay. 다 내가 가렸나 가데나 콘도사오세 마데스 다 대고 당하고 내가 저 가데나 아니 민념도 잡으치고 그래서 콘도사오세 마데스 다 대고.
And so what it's saying is that we should not get angry towards others. We should not be hating others. We should be harmonious. We should be kind with others, and we should be harmonious with others.
다 빼셔 제 드레에서 저는 구로랑에 대해 저는 조업 걸고 저는 게 같이 잡어 말해 저는 조업 공부 검사기 줄 안에 개 말해 줄이스 나 되고.
And so therefore, and also what he's saying is that the someone who's causing you to become angry is not your enemy, is someone who is helping you to create a merit of practicing patience.
다 빼자잖아. 다 잡지면 가데 대대 시를 호모바이 심비 계시 요마연 랍도 쇼마 이제 셰처를 봐 랍제 계지 샴르무스 데 베드로와.
And then there's example given in the verse 105. It says, a beggar is not an obstacle to generosity when I'm giving something away. And I cannot say that those who give ordination are an obstacle to becoming ordained.
앞에서 다 들이 가도 심바당 하고 있다. 먼저 3회가 백에 가르치 키는 심바당 다 들이 보스 좀 가도 심바당 하고 했다.
So, for example, let's say we're going to go and practice generosity, right? We're going to give things to people in need in Boston.
아데 로가라야 아니 이게 심바당 사기 믿으면 아마 파티 되나? 군조가 심바당을 개체게 두슬라야 말아. 군조 매와는 간조 심바당에 요나 땅사다 유대고 말아.
So if there are beggars in the street, right, and then then you can't say that, oh, these are obstacle to my practicing generosity. They are not obstacle to your practicing generosity, because without them you can't practice generosity, right?
Right? Or the dead chibares. 다 대나지게 다 대리 랍슈고다. 다 랍지 pen 다 자소로 pen. 점도 마시고요나. 점도 시 제가 점도 발랭고 삼아시 다 점도 만나게 가야 라마 게게데 요바이나. 대 점도 마시고라 조싱에 맞아 점도 마시고라 개식 말어. 어때도 치바레스.
And in the same way, so you say you want to receive a refuge vow, right? And you have the thought, to receive vow. It says, I must receive a refuge vow. And so if there is a Lama who is giving you the refuge vow, then the Lama who is giving you the refuge vow is a favorable condition for receiving the refuge vow, right? Not an obstacle, right?
Like there's an example, okay? It's true, right? 다 지나서 pen 대리 전소 레가타로 레가타. 레가팅이 아니 비게 미디 지나가 레가 체라 파체라는 데 없고.
It's just like saying somebody who is giving you a job, it's an obstacle for finding a job for you. So like you went to search for a job, and then there's somebody who's giving you this job, and then that person is giving you a job, right? Is fulfilling your wish, and is supporting you, right? Not causing obstacle to you.
Like that, okay? Like if you go to generosity, you have to be very skillful, and then sometimes you get just first generosity, the second moment get mad. Especially you go to India, Buddha Gaya, first try to give, then it's, they attacked me. You bet, right? Yeah, general. Have you guys tried this? You try to looking for some changes here, then they just come down. They were very skillful, always, very skillful, very, I call second word. Therefore, even you go to generosity, you need to be very skillful, for everywhere, anywhere. Therefore, if you say, if we need to trust or more close for others, means also you need to be very skillful. Therefore, right now, like everyone's ignorance and attachment, jealousy, they just like that. They like looking for something. They just like attacked. Therefore, every easy we choose. Therefore, we need to always be skillful and do something that's some benefit for others. We do like that. Okay? Or meeting meeting a trouble is another summer college by Sheshayo. That they might have checked.
And so what is this saying is that also we should also not discriminate the people. So this is somebody who's helping me. This is somebody who's who's causing me harm, and this is my enemy, like that.
Okay. Same chain time to nearly Chadani travel down your never teach. Oh, tender on the kind of lava nashi, Lala Susu Sem down to Tago.
And so just like we recite the line, about the immeasurable equanimity, right? So seeing all sentient beings free from bias and attachment. So just like we recite that, we should also try to practice, in reality, to see like that with our mind.
In order to that, also very, very skillful, very mindfulness. Mindfulness is correct. Mindfulness. Otherwise, very easy to misunderstand, take wrong direction. Okay? What is? That much, and the Tayan special machine. That should look at the truth. And Shetan soba gomsa yedo shira kombore lavare. Tate lo ni tong abjang ngel ta tate sanga do kas gogoyro.
And then verse 106 is saying that it is very rare to find an object to practice patience. Is that true? Many 2,500 years ago, maybe it's true. But nowadays, there's so much plenty of object to practice patience.
opposite. And jitenal homo wad mamores. Tading tanda Himalaya tanda olrowa.
And says, and then it says that there are indeed many beggars in the world. So people begging are so many in the world. Maybe it's more that time, and even still so many more right now, right in this world.
제다 빼자이나 단 jitenal homo wad mamore kadina kawane yores inaya. 다 저가 검색이 연내제도 shira 뉴레스. 가르나 콜 파네와 마지는 투네와 지금 말레스. 데리트 원다고 그러와.
And it says like there are indeed many beggars in this world, but scarce are those who inflict harm. Is that right? Who inflict harm is scarce. It's very rare to find somebody who cause harm to you. It is true, right? So if you don't harm to them, they will not harm to you.
와 jitenana 로마무 너와셔바 콤바테 제타 편나 마제나 가야 너바 메제도스 제다 jitenal homo wad 시당 mam보요레스. 옛나야 아니 치 저바 곰비게 연내제도 shira 콤보레스와.
It says that there are indeed many beggars in this world, but scarce are those who inflict harm. For if I have not injured others, few beings will cause me harm.
에다 알지나 콘툴라 파나와 마체와이나 네 쿠츠노 제가 말했어.
Because if you don't cause harm to them, they will not harm back to you, right?
That is true. 다딩도 빼셔다.
And give 말해서.
Not true. It's not true. What happened?
Ad is not agreeing.
Yeah, but
we talk about the four ways that karma matures. One of them is an environment. And I guess the question is, and you actually raised it, or made me think about it. If one has anger and that matures in terms of, not throwing karma, not habit, not being a victim of your own anger by somebody else, but in an environment, how would that environment, what would that environment be? And the reason I'm asking is, you said that it is very, very easy today to get harmed by doing nothing. If you don't believe me, well, never mind. It's very easy to go to a shopping mall, to go to a theater, to send your kids to school. And what is that environment? You once said that if I cross the street and I get hit by a bus, that's my karma. If you and I are crossing the same street at the same time and we get hit by the same bus, that's collective karma. And I guess I'm asking you, because I can actually conceive of a set of circumstances where you're actually minding your own business, not karmically, but minding your own business, and somebody shoots you. What is that environment, and how do we sort of assume that the environment is going to be Syria or Damascus, but that environment can simply be an angry family or an angry neighborhood or an angry city. And I guess I'm feeling guilty about disagreeing with you.
Rada dodola da ngazo de karang da naba majena su yugo marsigora da sono ba da dila dogna da ngazo de bena da koyu nala yobana da bena the Syria da woda ane da laptop da woda ra de koyu nala dogna da ngazo sama da de mix게 되는 다 망본 너바 되는 망본 거라 소소로 너바 거라 되는 소소 가우냐 벌는 너바 거라 안 돼서 되네 망보 요라 때 저한테 뭐 컴보레스 거다 디 무슨 메시지 왔다들라.
That's good. तेरे गेले को जाजा जाने ब्लैक वर्ड लग मारता है शतां तवे चने दे 단다 파는 먼저 트윈 신당 세비치네 individual 예 셰티버 엑스트라 용 몸을 용을 거래. 자세 잔이 될 라고 말다.
너버 맞아서 너버 거래.
제대 치다 가나 파는 먼저 트요 내가 용을 말해야 돼. 신당 세비치네 되래. 이나 제 내게 나도 개개 맞는 나도 가지 트윈 내가 신경 쬐는 거 가야 돼.
근데 또 파전 너버 쪄요라 당에마 맞지.
그래도 그 렌드를 샤와나 아니 저런 것들까지 야 렌드를 했다 야 제와다 어떤 몸보고 샤야 거스.
So yeah, actually, in general, it is true that if you don't cause harm to others, they will not harm to you, right? If you don't go in that environment, where there's harm happening, then you will not get harmed. So of course, it has to be something from our side, and yeah, you're right. So if you're just in a place, where there's no harm, like say, you go to places where there's a lot of violence going on. So if you're like in a war zone like that, so if you go there, of course, it's very you'll get harmed. But if you are sitting peacefully in a place and then somebody just comes and harm you, then of course we haven't done anything bad at that time, but then we bring it back into our karma. So at that time we're just sitting there doing nothing peacefully, but we must have created the karma in one of the previous lives, sometime, or in the previous time in this life, that has caused us to receive the harm this time. So definitely there is something, but yeah, directly at that time, yes, you're right. We haven't done anything, but we still can receive harm.
Okay.
Yes. That's not environmental consequences, is it? That's something else.
가서
More like, storms and earthquakes and things.
Hell knows.
Not like, that's not going through shopping mall.
왜냐면 남시 두자된데라다. 그래서 남시 사용자야 되는데라.
다 들어 다 선지 슈트가 다 들어 선지 슈트가 내니 내용으로 선지 슈트가 내렸다니.
근데 저도 소박하는 건 거래.
제가 간도 담때
사용자들 거기 소박하는 건 거래.
제가 간도 담든 되네 강에 들어도 간도 타 니월로 좀 담았다지. 그게 셴바지 다지 아도도 제 맛이 와도 간도 제 맛도 트렌지냐 좀 다는 간도 때 담담은 되게 용하다. 이제 다 사회 장다당 아니 출로주던 서박은 기샤 말해.
또 소박검사는 다 들어가서 써줄 거라 셈마 주고 써야 되나.
네 갑게 서박검 세대 지나라야 너버징이 그게 미지래야. 그거다 데려 서박검 걸라. 저 사다 쳐다 도다 면 서박검 기샤 말해 돼.
어때 저라가도 다 소소 셈마 줘야 되나다.
내가 소주 셈마 줘지 소주 송주 제가 탑지 가고 제거다 돼야. 서박검 대대네 소주 종라 그러와.
So at this time, in this context, of the verse 105 or 6, is talking about a someone, right? The someone giving you harm, someone irritating you, someone pressing your button. So that kind of person is very, rare to find, because if you haven't pressed the button on others, then they will not press your button. So that's why it's talking about. Of course, yes, there can be environmental, harms, or like the earthquake or storm and hurricanes like that. So those are also harm, But that's not actually what we're talking about here in this context. But still, that's the harm, right? So, and at that time, not having our mind disturbed, irritated. Why this happening to me? And then that becomes a bit more suffering for us. But if we understand, oh, that's okay. Just as this is because of my karma is happening, and it will not be there forever. I can handle it. I can deal with it. I will do this, and then I can overcome it like that. So if you think like that, then your mind will not be disturbed. So that's one way of practicing patience. Also, you can still practice patience in that case, but that's not what we're talking about when we say there's a rare, condition, for us to practice patience here.
In verse 12 in chapter 5 guarding alertness, it says, unruly beings are as unlimited as space, and they cannot possibly all be overcome.
Chapter what?
Yeah, chapter 5, verse 12.
Chapter 4, now you give extra work. Chapter 5.
댐제 마로와서, 댐제 마로와도 아주 잡으려면 나다요, 그랬어.
Guarding
그래서
alertness.
가만히 뜬토 요 말했어. 지 라이브 저라데 아저데 다 소소 센데 또 봐야 돼. 상마 또 봐.
자, 제장 안도 그다지도 뭐 다지도 될 말씀이 다 지나 될 강하대 그랬어. 다 될 지난 게 소소 셈도 따고 잡쇼. 안에 대표요 와 빼라 가지나 난 잠블로 고마제도 잠블레 간가 꼭 당마 대란 지난 한국하고 교쇼스. 어때 대장이고.
대가라 대도 먼저 대 나바래 왜? 나바 말아 두 번이 살.
대 나와나 해.
나바나 왜? 소바가 말해디.
샘제 타만 내 매버서 뚝뚝뚝 그냥 샘제 좋아요 말했어. 제가 샘제 좋고 말했어. 텔레가는 수수 샘제 따고 잡시다. 다 샘제 참아 저는 또 집발했어.
말다 대 레우마 바래게 레우 두 번씩 그래. 콘도스 요 말해.
몰래 나와
레우마 바나 왜?
그래. 특히 내가 나와네.
알아.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, just like that, so there's unruly beings, right? There's beings untamed or unruly beings, all over the world. If you try to go and tame them, it's not possible, But if you tame your mind, then it's the same as taming all those people. And just like the example they gave, about covering the whole earth, with the leather in order to protect your feet, from the pebbles and thorns. That's not possible. But if you just cover your feet with the proper sole, shoes, soled shoes, and then wherever you walk, your feet will be protected from all these pebbles and thorns. And therefore, it's the same as having covered the whole earth with leather.
My question was, though, on the one hand, chapter 106 is saying that scarce are the people who inflict harm, but in this verse, it's saying that there is unlimited space.
가세.
단단한 것들이 가서 숄로가 야다 두나라 가서 가서들 배 공부를 시거랬어. 수 너버장이 미드 공부를 했어. 롱니 미드 망보여데 너버장이 미드 공부를 했어. 이나 단다 디나 단다 루가바나 딜라나라 되네 심지 말어야 되네 나봐요랬어.
제다 네 공부해야 되게 된리가 너지가 저거데 제베 여다 컴토와서 공부를 했어. 강가 코 자드 삼다마서 코가 저 검색 얘기한 something 공부해서 어때 코 저거 검색이 공부 쉬고 자대 그래서 그딱 무슨 제베 무슨 도움이 말아.
저배 열도 공부를 했어.
아, 그 제베 막 무슨 도움에다 가 저거 검색 이슈 공부 쉬고 다 콜 저거 검색 좀 해보자.
다 가야 되는 진짜 더 공부 시고 말어.
진짜 더 공부를 진짜 니자 샤이.
공부를 시고 말어.
인자라 샤이. 대인자라 샤이. 가원에 자죠. 너 봐, 맞이나 투 지금 말해야 돼. 아니 오늘에서 가르나 투 지금 다시 공부를 가자는 저런 거 봐, 맞이 투 지금 말해 봤어. 대 사회진한테 때 오늘 왔어. 자샤 번나 조추 돈추 잡 고추 되지. 봐, 맞이 투 지금 말해 와. 제가 안에 공부를 했어. 근데 시작은 찍지. 단 대신 제단이라 저랑 공부를 강사대 저랑 그 제베에 또 검토고 말했어. 저랑 문제 제부터마다 저 저거 검사기도 저랑 공부를 했어. 대신 이제 자요.
And it's true, right, that if you have not caused harm to others, then the others will not cause harm to you. And of course, that also depends. So you might have caused harm, but then also it has to, cause somebody to cause harm to you. It has to meet condition, right? You have to be in a time, meet with the right condition, right time, and right place, right? So if you're not in that, then you will not be able to receive the harm. So receiving harm needs all these causes and condition too. And so to have all this cause and condition come together is rare. And then that's one understanding. Then other understanding is that even though there's these people who are causing harm to us, it is very difficult for us to take them as in cause, for our practice of patience, right? So if there's nobody to cause harm to you, you will not be able to practice patience. But even if there are somebody who is causing harm to you, but for you to take that as an object, of your practice of patience is very difficult. So you can say rare in that way as well.
Okay.
Is that a little bit easier to understand? I mean, like it is easier to think that it is rare or scarce, to find somebody who's causing harm to you, to take that person as an object of practicing patience.
That's rare, yeah.
Yeah. 제가 배는 것도 남리 나사 매워 속은 것도 소독입니다. 다 소속은 나사도 마야가 피타지 소독 매 또나 백신 자우 치체고도.
It's just like vaccinating yourself, to be protected from all these diseases, can help you to be protected, right? But if you go out to, get rid of all these diseases, it's not possible.
어빼체. 만도가나 다 풀리 용어 죽으면서 고가야 막 풀리 거는 되고 봤어. 텔레소도 풀리셔 잡잖아. 풀리나 건너도 막 대나지. 당가 자가가 매워서 있네. 코 매워지. 다 가리서 차는 거 저거 보잖아.
And so, if you say, oh, there's so much flu going on and I want to be protected, I want to get rid of all this flu, then that's not possible. But if you take a flu shot to yourself, then you'll not get the flu. So it's similar to that. Not necessarily, but it will work. But even after taking flu shot, you can still get flu. but that's the idea, right? So that you don't get flu. The idea of getting flu shot is to not get flu, but you can still get. But so anyway, that's the idea. So just like it said in that verse in chapter 5, there's no way you can tame all the beings, but if you tame your mind, it is the same as taming all the beings around.
Okay, 다 닉트나된 것도 코데오로 보면 단단하도 obviously 코데오로 하잖아. 안소 컨트롤링이 다 소소 마가게 밑에 저게 또 곰태와 깔까오레스 텐다 콤보쇼레스.
And so, you can the other understanding of that is that person who's causing you to be angry or pressing your button, and to be able to practice patience on that is very scarce. You can think like that also.
Chada, that's good. Very Jennifer, very good thought to bring that put together. This is how the monks also they're reading like 2-3 books together, same object. Okay, this book says like that. This book says like that. What's the real meaning? How can we understand it? One say yes, one say no. 배차잖아. 산지 좀 내고 콜로 동부 가서 추탐체 덴바트가 예서 말이야. 콜로 바베 가서 추도지 대박 맞춰봐야 다 강사송에 찍어서 말 가르는 때 가져다 구발로서 말 고알해요.
And so just like Buddha said, everything exists truly in the first turning of the wheel of Dharma. And then he says, none of the things exist truly in the second turning of the wheel of Dharma. And it's very contradictory, right? Because it's said, by the same person, but it's saying very different things, totally opposite things, right? And again, if you understand, that's for a special reason, for special people with different disposition, then it makes sense, to say that, okay, so in this one he said this, in this one he said that.
Okay, like that. Don't finish. You guys finish. Rest of 1 hour. Anyway, that's good. Also, now you guys also discussion after usually I teach you right. Good to you guys discussion what I talked that day. Because someone not clear, then say, oh yeah, I heard that, or I understand that way. Then you can go more discussion. If you guys bring some different, object, different subject, then people have no idea. You discussion said different things. I'm not saying don't do that, but it's good helpful. Okay, like today we're going to 2 verses. Okay, what do you understand this verse? You guys different explains, read different books. We say, really? No, Geshe says something. It's not make sense. No, it makes sense. In the monastery, the students go to the same teacher, same book, same author, same student, same teacher. They go to the debate class because I bring my own, my teacher book, also my own ID. Bob bring Bob, Jennifer, Mark bring his own. Then you guys discussion. Okay, how about that? Then you guys, wow, yeah, that's it. Like that. You guys like something solid to keep your mind. Okay, this is the purpose to you after class to discussion. Okay, I thought you can bring some We talk about here, you bring some neighbors things bring here. I'm not saying neighbor, some different object, then you have no idea. And other people they doesn't heard before, they have no idea. Okay? This is just my thoughts. Okay, thank you. Now I'm going to different direction. I'm going to the but that's part of the celebration. Okay, thank you.
Let's keep that up very quick.
Okay. So,
Saji Turki Jupsing Makeup Rabi Rapping Shingi Hagen Hadi Sangi Shingdu Mikte Huagi Roko Namdak Jing Lacher Pasho Yetun Lame Kute Rapten Jing Namka Lile Chok Trike Pada Rosanten Pedret Mesa Sungi Grove Motel Taktu Negyurchi Idam Guru Ratnam
Mandala Kana Yada Yame. Okay, thank you. Thank you, some people. Enjoy on the sky. Okay, thank you.